Well, welcome back, dear listeners, to another episode of the Reforming Nerdom podcast. I am one of your hosts, Jordan Cecile, a.k.a. Nadraj.
That's right.
A.k.a. the Archivist.
That's right.
Given yourself the AKAs now.
When you become the archivist of your church library, that is something I'm going to don that with tons of pride. And so we're also joined
Will you get that embroidered on a shirt? I know a guy.
You know what? I probably will, but I will not go to that guy because the level of incompetence.
Sorry, that was bait. That was total bait.
Yeah, no, and so we will not. Yeah, I feel like I need a shirt. I need a cloak. I need a robe.
Yeah,
is what
I think
a
that's
cloak
more
or
appropriate. Yeah,
and
is it
but
archivist or archivist?
So Nate, I think, said archivist. I was calling it archivist. But then when I looked
trust
into
Nate
it
on pronunciation.
Listen, Eustace.
No, but I looked into it, and at least according to what I found online, archivist is the proper way of saying it.
I know
and
how to pronounce
English,
English, Ben. It's mostly my Latin, my Greek, and my Hebrew that needs work.
All the things that are in the Bible.
Yeah. So, anyways, the church archivist, which will be fun. And if you could not tell, listeners, we're also joined by the one and only P. Nate, a.k.a. Pastor Nate, a.k.a. Nathaniel P. Wright. Nate, how are you?
I'm doing great. I was out speaking late last night at an Ontario Party event with Derek Sloan, and it was funny. So it was an event at our church that some people put together, and so if you don't know Derek Sloan, his political phrase, his slogan is faith, freedom, and families. And it was a night where they gave us a bunch of donuts. It was like a dessert event or whatever. And in particular, there was a bunch of fritters. So I suggested that he runs next time on faith, family, freedom, and fritters. And it was a pretty good event. So I got home late last night. So it was a long day, but I'm looking forward to talking nerd stuff.
So with the Ontario Party, not that our American listeners are going to care about this at all, but is that still like a party that's doing good things? I know there's like True Blue, there's Ontario Party, there's obviously Christian Heritage Party, or no, Ontario Party. That's just provincially, right?
Just provincial,
provincial.
So generally, I mean, generally speaking, like my memberships, federal membership would be with the CHP, and my provincial membership would be with the Ontario Party. Ontario Party is actually explicitly Christian. New Blue was kind of the traditional conservative party, but they weren't explicitly Christian. Ontario Party is explicitly Christian. It's right in their charter. So that's the provincial party that I tend to support. I'll generally speak at any of those political events because I think pastors should be talking more into the realm of politics. And I'm honestly, even if the NDP asked me to come, I'd just blast them with some sphere sovereignty stuff. But so it was a good event though.
Yeah, very cool. And we're also joined by Headmaster Ben of the Cloth, Ben Jammin. Ben, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. I've got 99 problems, and starting a school is 100 of them. So
okay, good. So it's going well.
Reforming Nerdom 8-1.
Yeah. Let this time be your respite, Ben. Let this be your time of rest,
recharge.
Yeah. I am honestly, I'm very much looking forward to, what is it? Not next Tuesday, two Tuesdays from now, which is our first day of school. Because I actually feel like once we just kind of start, a lot of this, like the prep is almost worse than the doing at this point.
Yeah.
I have to say, it's a little surreal sitting here. This is, for all of our audio listeners, this will be bad radio, but I'm sitting here and I'm looking at the two of you, and Ben is in my old office, and Jordan is in my current office, and there's this surreal feeling like,
you've been relegated.
Yeah, that was full when you got there, Jordan.
Yeah, that's right. Well, and Nate, I apologize if there's going to be a hate crime in your office. So
it wouldn't be the first.
Yeah. for our Office fans out there. But all right, listeners. Well, today we've just got kind of a bunch of random things that we're talking about. There's nothing. We were hoping to do our 2025 Rotten Tomato movie predictions episode, or kind of review and recap, and Don our champion, but we weren't really able to get that coordinated. We want to get Parker on because he was a big part of that, and he's looking forward to joining us. So we're hoping to do that next week. And just the way that all of our weeks have gone, we have another thing that we're wanting to do, but we're going to try to put a pin in that and do that in a couple weeks. But there's a few things that just kind of came up in the last few days or week, things that I guess kind of in the news, some things being released. I'm just kind of curious what you guys would be thinking about it. So, the first thing I actually want to talk about is actually it's our segment, our ongoing weekly segment of Did Jordan's Tesla Blow Up? And I'm
Yeah.
happy to report that I have not blown up a Tesla. I do not yet have a Tesla, and I may not get a Tesla. And so, which is breaking my heart a little bit, but it's also good. So, I mean, I was talking to the guys about this, and listeners, like, so our plan, we're moving from Strathroy, trying to get closer to the church. We had a rental lined up. It was about 20 minutes away, so we're figuring, okay, we're going to need a second vehicle because that's a decent enough commute. But God, in His timing and providence, and he actually kind of allowed a house that we had tried to buy before fell through because somebody else came in with a different offer. Those people bailed. Long story short, we're now very quickly trying to get possession of this house, which is only about 3 minutes away from the church.
It's a hostile
Which
takeover,
means,
but
yeah, that's, I mean, that's how I'm trying to think of it as. And it's just very close to the church, which then makes the whole thing of getting a second vehicle maybe not makes the most sense right now, anyways. So the did I blow up a Tesla? I'm happy to report that I did not. Are we still maybe gonna buy a Tesla? Maybe, because we do kinda still want a second vehicle, but the timeline of getting that Tesla, it might be
not
on
it's
hold.
not quite as
But
top of the list.
but it's not as top, but this is, and this is what I wanna talk to you guys about. I might replace my Tesla with a robot lawnmower.
Okay, listen. So do what you want. However, I was pushing a toddler in a stroller not too long ago, and just walking around our neighborhood on the sidewalk, and we walked by one of those stupid little lawnmowers, and it was tipped over the edge of the curb and
Oh, no.
just spasming, at unable to unable to do anything. So, look, I don't know. It wasn't the best commercial for for for
as
the
as the blade is spinning inches from Talbot's
yeah.
face, like
Well, I didn't wanna hear that, Ben. I'll be honest. I did not wanna hear that because I am thinking I have solved one of the things I hate doing the most, and it's just like you have to do it, and
just
sometimes in Canada, you have to do it twice a week, and that's mowing my lawn, and I don't enjoy it.
just get a goat.
Um, yeah, I can't do that in town, Ben.
have you
Stupid
checked the
bylaws.
bylaws in Ingersoll? They're different than Strathroy, my friend.
Could I maybe get chickens? Is that,
Well,
like,
you for
Yeah, you
sure
can
maybe
can
get
get
a
chicken.
thing?
chickens.
Yeah, you can get chickens in
I
Ingersoll.
don't think you can get a
No,
rooster.
you
I don't think you're allowed to have a rooster in town.
are you guys being serious? Can I actually get chickens in town?
Yeah, for
Yeah.
real.
Maybe?
I think you can only get like 5 though. I think it's like 5 chickens and no rooster.
I mean, I'll push that. I'll get, like, 7 chickens,
Yeah,
and,
whatever.
yeah. Well, 'cause, we were as we were driving, like, so we packed up our house, thankfully, we can set up our trailer at friends of ours, not far from the church, and as we were driving, we just, like, look over, and we see a soccer field being mown by this, like, pretty large, like, I think more of, like, an industrial-sized robot lawnmower, and it was just like, "Wow, that's actually working really well," and so then I just was out of
That's
curiosity, I went
that's
and
kind
looked
of a
into it.
scary uh thing to like putting all those words an industrial sized robot lawnmower.
At a
It's a
kid's
little
park?
Well,
bit
like,
terrifying.
I mean, like, by industrial, I'm meaning, like, it's still not, like, massive, but it was bigger than I think the one that you're gonna find just for,
Yeah, I
uh,
mean the one that I
like, kinda
saw was
Joe Blow.
basically like a, DJ Roomba kind of thing.
Okay, because those ones, I mean, yeah, like, there's a pretty big difference in these robot lawnmowers in terms of quality, like, there's really small, cheap, crappy ones, and then there's ones that, the ones that I was looking at have all-wheel drive and, um, can, like, handle, like, 80 or, like, 30 or 40-degree slopes and can go over bumps and have, like, auto detection and all these things, and it's just, like, the idea of it. So I guess the big question I had is, does that make me less of a man to have a robot mow my lawn for me. Because if that's a problem, I mean, as a Christian man, can I have a robot mow my lawn?
I mean, like, a lot of people just pay a child to mow their lawn. Does that make
Yeah.
them less of a man? I don't know.
Uh, no, I don't think it makes you less of a man, but I also would say before I don't know how much they are, but before you go out and buy that, like, you will be now right by the church, which means you'll have a bunch of church family near you, like, how many years before you're just paying Kyla Prees
Yeah,
or Judah Wright to come and mow your lawn every week, and
because I want to do that because it's about an acre, like, assuming we get the place, like, it's big enough that we need to now buy a riding lawnmower. And so a riding lawnmower, even a used one, it's like 3 grand, 3 to 3,500 bucks, but at the house, they don't really have, like, there's a detached garage, but there's not really a spot for the mower, so then I think they maybe just had theirs under a cover, which I don't really love that during the winter here, so then you now have to maybe, like, build a shed to, like, put the lawnmower, and then you have maintenance cost of a lawnmower, and you have the gas of a lawnmower, or my little robot in at, like, 11 o'clock at night can just go and mow my lawn for me, and I wake up, and I never actually have to see my lawn low because you just schedule it, program it, and it just goes and does it for me.
Yeah, go
I
for it.
mean,
I
at
mean,
that property though,
You've
like,
convinced
will the
me.
coyotes attack your lawnmower robot?
I don't know. It has, like
It must
apparently it
it
has, like,
must
an
have,
alarm.
like, a self-defense mode.
Yeah, like R2D2 has the little zapper, right? So it's gotta
I don't
have
think what's a coyote gonna do? The things are like 50, 60 pound, like, pretty beefy, heavy things, so I don't think a coyote's gonna be able to do much to it, and it has a camera on it, so if it does detect something or if
then
it
you have a
feels like it's
viral
being
video.
well, exactly, it's like my lawnmower just killed a coyote, um, but
You
it has,
come
like,
out
a
in the
camera
morning,
on
it's
it.
just a mangled mess of, like, flesh and beast and robot
Well,
and blade.
but it's cool because my first thought when I saw it, I was like, "Well, what stops somebody from stealing it?" Because, like, that looks kinda cool, you have this robot thing, and all it does because it just has, like, a docking station that goes somewhere in the house, and like, finds itself back to the docking station, so it charges, and so you never have to actually, like, look at the thing. It's just like this little robot butler that goes and cuts your lawn, but it has, like, a theft detection thing, so if somebody's picking it up when it's operating, it starts apparently just screaming, like, a really, really loud
Screaming
Keeps them in
alarm.
stranger.
danger. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
like
your
and
decrease.
and but because it runs on GPS and has all these, like, GPS things to know the boundaries that it's supposed to cut, you actually can track it too. So, like, they can't really get very far because it has GPS stuff built into it, so you just follow it. So the chances of it actually getting stolen. So, anyways, because I was looking at the price and, like, a really good one, or, like, a good one, it's kinda the same price or if not a little bit less than getting a riding lawnmower,
Hmm.
and so I'm just thinking, like, I was expecting it to be, like, minimum 5 to 7 grand to
Right.
get one that would be reasonable, but it's like, oh, like, 2,500 bucks, and you get, like, a good quality all-wheel drive, and you can, like, program it so it has different zones, so it's like, well, it wouldn't be able to do the entire property in one go, but it would do the back, then it would go charge, and then come back and do the next zone, and, again, all this can happen at night where you're not even awake because it's quiet, and so neighbors don't hear it, and nobody needs to even you know? So
It's pretty sweet.
So instead of "Did Jordan's Tesla blow up?", our new segment will be "Did Jordan's, AI
Robot
lawnmower get a taste of blood and
yeah.
try to overthrow his, uh,
family.
his overlords?"
Yeah. I mean,
Or did it hit Piper? That would
yeah,
be terrible.
that would be terrible. I don't know. I'd be curious to see what she would do with it if she would just be freaked out or
So, I do feel, just in terms of loyalty to my wife, Jordan, I feel compelled to ask the question that I know Colleen would ask you. How does this impede your ability to buy a jet ski for next year's vacation?
I mean, it definitely gets in the way a little bit.
So,
Um,
just
not
just
entirely.
just saying, just throwing it out there.
Yeah. No jet
Uh,
skis, just less jet skis.
so our third segment is did we buy a jet ski
That's right.
and which jet ski and how can we create some content around us all having access to a jet ski? That's you know what? Recording first ever podcast recorded on a jet ski, maybe,
There you
right?
go.
There's probably something like that. We could do that. Get my
Reforming
Starlink on the back
Nerdom
of it.
implications. I like it.
Tesla should
That's
make a
right.
jet ski.
Yeah, they should. Well, they already have
Although again, we
a
talked about the downside of Teslas like being submerged in water. So that might not
no,
be
but they
that's true.
yeah, I
Sounds
think
like a
they have
bad combo right now. Right now.
they they have a yeah, an all electric quad that you can buy for kids. So
That's
you can
pretty
actually
sweet.
buy yeah,
I love how they just made it look like the Cybertruck.
Yeah,
yeah, of
exactly.
course. But like how sweet is that?
It's pretty small. It's smaller than I was picturing, actually.
Yeah,
I think
it's a
they I think
toy. That's
I
not
think
like a
they do
legit
yeah, I
ATV.
think they the cyber quad. Wait, where is it? Is it okay, I thought they had one as well because when they announced the Cybertruck, I thought they actually had one for grown-ups, but maybe not.
That's
But
pretty
even
awesome
still
though, because those little like electric
Yeah,
cars and stuff
kids
that
love
kids
them.
drive around, they're such a cool idea and kids love them, but the battery lasts for like
2
3
seconds.
minutes. Yeah.
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 So I'm
I don't
sure
even know
this
how
thing
long
could
this
just go for days. It's
yeah,
gonna be
because
awesome.
they know yeah, they know battery tech and
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
Caution near pools.
yeah. Huh, yeah. Well, alright, so I think my chances of getting a robot lawnmower are higher right now than getting a Tesla, so
Alright.
I'll
Well,
keep everybody updated.
yeah, the
Yeah.
listeners will
So how are
know
we gonna how are
based
we
on
gonna
the
business
segment.
expense the the robot lawnmower?
I'm sure as heck gonna
What
review
do
it, you can believe that. We're gonna do an unboxing, we're gonna talk about this thing, I'm gonna name it, he's gonna maybe bring me drinks or something
Will it
like
be
that.
Alfred?
yeah.
Yeah, oh, of course it has to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course it has to be. Alright, well, listeners, I'll keep you updated. The next thing that I was wanting to chat with you guys about is this, I saw this on Twitter this week, and it of course, there's not already enough Christian infighting on Twitter or X, whatever. Um, but it's over this new movie that's super popular, and it's called K-pop Demon Hunters. Boys, have you heard anything about K-pop Demon Hunters?
I've heard until you brought it up, I've heard nothing other than like seeing it on the screen when I popped Netflix on. That was
Okay.
the
Yeah.
extent of my knowledge of it.
Yeah,
Well,
so my same with me at first. So I had I saw it pop up on the new Netflix thing. You can always tell what they're pushing on the kids stuff. And I saw it and I immediately, just because of how it looked and what it was called, I was like, there's no way Netflix is making anything about demons that I'm letting my kids watch. So I just kind of chalked it up to, yeah, that's not happening. And my kids are good. Like, they know what they don't watch any new shows without running it by us and all that kind of stuff. I don't think they asked to watch that one anyway, but so it was just kind of filed in the back of my brain. So then when I saw our boy Joshua Hames, fan of the show, when I saw that he had promoted it on X, I was like, oh, that's cool. And I mean, Josh is a super solid guy. He's thoughtful. He's not like a compromised TGC style dude. I mean, he's a very thoughtful, very solid Christian who's not afraid to, point out the cultural idols. So I actually trust Josh quite a bit. So I was like, oh, okay, that's interesting. I should actually maybe watch that, or at least watch part of it. And if it's as good as he says, encourage Quinn to watch it. So I did see in his post, because I was curious, because it's not anime, but it's close enough to anime.
yeah,
Who sort of responded, and what, and of course, like, Josh Hames is, um, he's kind of in that middle ground, I think, like, with all of the Twitter wars recently in Ogden and Moscow and all that kind of stuff. Stayed pretty neutral in terms of just like staying out of that, but like just doing his thing. There's a lot of overlap in terms of people who follow him. So I was interested to see how people responded. And of course, like, the Anon army, just like ripping him a new one, the Holden brothers just being, I would say, tools to him. So it was interesting to see, and Josh is actually really good at responding to people who comment negatively to him. So I mean, I saw it and I was just like, okay, here we go, another controversy. Like, these people, there's a lot of people, unfortunately, in the Christian nationalist world on Twitter, who just don't know how to live in times of peace.
uh-huh.
And So I did see a bit of the controversy, but I haven't watched the show yet.
Yeah, because it sounded like from what I could, from what I could gather, that the issue was around Josh saying that there were like Christian themes within the movie. Like he wasn't saying that this is a Christian movie. He was just saying that there are things in it that are good, and that it was an enjoyable movie. And then that's where, yeah, a lot of those guys then were like, well, it's girl characters, girl bosses, can't have any of that. It has now. I think there's some merit to it, and I'd be curious just to talk to Josh just a little bit because I did watch a little bit. I tried watching it last night, but I passed out mid watching it. So I got about half to about maybe close to 2/3 of the way through the movie. And I can see some of what their concerns are of, especially it being a kids movie. I think it's a movie though that I would watch with my kids. I would only let them watch it if I was watching it with them though. So I could do that like kind of catch the lie thing that you talk about, Nate, because I think there are some kind of subtle subversive things there that I do agree. It's like even like one of them, it's the girls, like so there's this like boy band that shows. So the whole premise of the movie for listeners, if you don't know about this movie, these girls are uh the people who fight off these demons are essentially girl bands throughout history, and they have the ability through their singing and everything to fight off these demons and ward off the demons to keep them at bay. And so then there's this like group of this boy band. I won't get into too much of it if you don't wanna watch it, but that show up and the girls just, like, thirst after them, like, looking at their abs, and they're, like, literally drooling and goggling at their all these things, and it's like, there are things like that in the movie that, yeah, I actually don't really think as Christian parents, we probably want our kids seeing that, and so it's again, like, the whole girl boss thing, I don't think that's the worst possible thing, seeing girls just, like, fighting things, but, as we've talked about before, Nate, with, like, Quinn, she doesn't actually resonate with the desire to go beat up bad guys the way
Right.
that Judah does, and so, like, it is definitely talking about it in that way, but I think there are some things there, and then, like, as often is the case now in movies and shows where making the gay like effeminate men like funny and trying to make that seem desirable, where it's just them being like silly or like whipping their hair and being like and like doing the flaccid wrist thing and making that seem like so, and there's like a lot of that stuff, and so it's like I don't want to, 'cause I don't think it's I would not go as far as to say, like, "No, this is absolute, like, abomination Christians avoid entirely, this is terrible." But I do think there is something to be said about, like, having caution and being willing to have those conversations with your kids while watching it, because there is enough there where it's like, yeah, that is actually kind of a subtle thing, and, like, I don't want my son seeing these obviously gay characters. They're not calling them gay, but at least in their mannerisms and how they're being portrayed in the movie, it's like, well, okay, you're obviously gay. And have that seem like that's, oh, like an enjoyable character that you should actually root for in the movie, or that you should actually, when you see men like that around, that doesn't actually repulse you, because it actually should repulse you when you
So
see men doing that.
so Josh, I saw some of his interaction on this, and he said that the effeminate guys are demons. They're the demons that are getting hunted. So, is that true?
There's
Like,
like
the
one,
effeminate guys
there's
are the
like,
bad
there's
guys?
Well, okay, and maybe I haven't gotten all the because I haven't gotten all the way through, but there's like their essentially their manager is a guy who's pretty effeminate. Not like not grossly effeminate, but like yeah, like the main guys who are the demons. Okay, we'll just get into spoilers. There's these demons are like to thwart these girls who are demon hunters. They then these guys who are demons end up saying like, well, the only way that we can beat them is by stealing their fans. So then they create their own boy band up in the real world to then take away the fans, because if the girls don't have their fans, they lose their power. So then it is boy bands, and like yeah, like all the guys are that K-pop, non-binary looking metrosexual, very feminine look, hair colors,
Right.
like all those things, and so yes, they are the demons that they're trying to beat, but it's not because they're effeminate looking that they're being hunted as demons. So it's
Right.
like they're still kind of portrayed as like the good looking, cool,
Right.
like this is the new hip
Yeah,
kind
like, they're
of
portrayed
thing.
that way as if, like, that's their guys to like,
Yeah.
they act
Yeah.
like they're promoting that as a positive. because that's their like disguise,
Yes.
makes them look
Yeah.
not like demons, right?
Yes. Yeah,
Which
that's right.
is the
And so
opposite of what we might say.
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
So
And
one of
so
the things
again,
that Josh was promoting in terms of why he was advocating for it was because he felt like it was a good sort of parody of spiritual warfare, and it would get you to be able to have conversations with your kids about spiritual warfare and the immaterial world and that sort of stuff.
mhm. Yep.
Um, would you agree that some of the conversations that would come out of it would be valuable?
Yeah, I think so. But again, like because they're not trying to do this in like a biblical way, they're kind of fusing things together a bit where it's humans become demons like that. So that was part of it.
Oh,
Is these some of those boy band guys are humans who kind of sold their soul for their families or for various reasons, and then now they're kind of serving the bad guy. I don't even know his name. But so it's like, well, that's not true. And so there's like there's that kind of confusion that could come in there. But then there's also the main character or one of the main characters. It turns out that she's a half demon, and so her dad, who was a demon, married her
Nestling.
mom, who, and that's where it's
fun.
like exactly that's what I came. That's what came to mind. And it's like, well, that's not a good thing. Like we
Yeah,
know that's not a good thing, and so
you're
it's like that
gotta
if
wipe you
you
out.
Yeah.
no, right? And so, like, then it's just that's part of the story as well, where you have this girl who is a demon hunter, but herself who is half demon. But it's like, well, that's not like really a thing. And so I could see there being confusion over that. Like, so I think big picture, especially depending on how old your kid is, right? Like, we're going to have various conversations at different levels of depth with our kids based on their age. And so I think this is an introduction to that. And I think it's at the very least good in that it's showing that I liked how the demons were pictured as, at least most of the demons were like revile, like they were ugly, they were grotesque, and they were in this underworld and they were being kept there, but they're trying to like break in to the, again, there's no gospel, there's no any of that in it, at least from what I've watched. Maybe further on, it actually has more of those
Yeah, I
Christian
mean, some of the
undertones.
so I tried to just I couldn't it just sounds like something I would not enjoy at all. So I didn't want to spend a like a ton of
So
time actually
selfishly, Ben did
watching
nothing for
the
the podcast.
So I did just tried to like read a couple reviews to kind of get the gist of it. And it does sound like they do bring in themes of like forgiveness, even to the point of explicitly talking about forgiveness of sin.
Hmm.
So like I don't know. I'm pretty conflicted. Not even pretty conflicted. Like I'm a family of a bunch of boys and then of my oldest girl who would think this is like just looking at the the screen on Netflix would never ever be interested in watching it. So we will never ever watch it. But um I don't know. I almost find it when uh companies like that, like, like these guys, this is not even one iota explicitly Christian. So it almost gets more confusing when you start bringing in themes that are Christian
Hmm.
of
When
Yep.
spiritual
they don't
warfare and
understand the subject
forgiveness of
material.
sin. And then it's just like, I don't know. Like I wouldn't promote it. Like even just looking at it and like the skimpy outfits that the girls are wearing and just like I do get the uh some of the backlash maybe that Hames is getting. Um but those guys are also just ding dongs on Twitter, so
So,
Yeah.
um, I guess part of this is like this kind of gets to the theme of what we're trying to do with reforming nerddom, though, is like part of the problem is that you're grasping there's such a mass amount of sewage out there in terms of media and entertainment that you get guys who are trying to comment on social things and cultural moments and it's sometimes the thing that's not total garbage looks better against the backdrop of all the garbage. And it
Yeah.
just goes to show like we this is why Christians need to invest in media. Like this is why we need better stories because if we're looking at this as going like, "Oh, this is one of the best things on Netflix now for kids, for young girls." It's like, "Well, that's a problem." Right? Like, you know what I mean? We shouldn't have to sort through piles of crap to find something that's only worth
that's
whatever.
that's slightly less crappy.
Yeah.
It's still
So,
crap, but
yeah, it's still
doesn't stink
mud,
quite as
but
bad. Yeah.
yeah, so I mean, it kinda gets to the heart of what we're talking about here is, like, the part of the problem is that you have people kinda grasping at straws because, the Christians have in large swaths abandoned media and entertainment and, we know, like, guys like Marcus Pittman who are trying to do this, but it's not easy when you're competing against Netflix and you're competing against whatever, and it's even
True.
a sad thing when
Yeah,
you
like
look at some of the
giant corporations that are willing to lose
right,
bazillions of dollars, upfront to produce all this stuff. So,
right,
it's a tough
to get your kids,
yeah.
right? Like, yeah, I agree. So it does kind of get to the heart of what we'd like to see is we need Christians to write better stories than this, right?
So I guess, Nate, what do you or Ben, either one of you, is there is there merit to the thinking of being okay consuming things that are kind of more of a stopgap on the way to that, or do we only get to that end result? Kind of the abolition versus the incrementalist way of looking at it.
Right.
And do you celebrate a win because, you know what, it's a movie that's not, overtly flaunting homosexuality and sodomy. It's not overtly telling, pro-feminism things, even though it might be subtly in some ways. Is that part of the strategy as we're hoping to eventually see good Christian media? Is it permissible, do you think, for us to watch something like this? Or is this the type of thing that, you know what, no, we actually the way we get to that is by abandoning all of it, or is this still something that you think I is celebrated so that they continue making more in that
Yeah.
direction? What do you think that actually looks like?
Yeah, I think it's, the question is maybe a false dichotomy because I think there's so much good stuff out there that's not explicitly Christian.
Right.
And I don't even think that Christians need to make explicitly Christian media in
Agreed.
the sense that most people assume what we mean when we say Christian media, right? Like most of the best literature that exists in the world for thousands of years is not explicit. It's not like a gospel story about a missionary or anything like that. It's Anna Karenina or it's
Right.
Homer or it's, like these things are good and virtuous and worth your time, but they're not explicitly Christian. So like I think you have to say that yes, it's okay to consume non-Christian media. But that doesn't necessarily mean that I'm gonna tell you to go watch K-pop Demon Hunters. Maybe I
Right.
like I don't know. I've never seen it, and maybe I would, and I think I probably would lean towards saying I don't think this is worth your time. But I'm not gonna say that about everything. Like for, just clearly.
Yeah. So there's a couple. I would just say I'm definitely not when in. Let me preface this. Like in terms of this, I don't think abolition is the correct answer in terms of just totally cut the cable, you can't support Netflix or whatever. And like I do think this is a conscience issue. I think that there is a lot of people who canceled their Netflix after that. I think it was called Cuties or whatever, like
Yeah.
yeah. And that's I think that's fine. Like I think you can make that choice to do that. I think our family kind of rotates. So, we'll cut Netflix for a while and we'll pick up Disney. We'll cut Disney for a while and we'll pick up, Crave or whatever. And it just depends. We do that partially just so that there's new stuff. We do that partially so that we're not like supporting all one thing. Do a little bit because, there's always going to be a new Star Wars thing that I want to watch or whatever. And so that's sort of how we do it. But I think there's stuff on there that's not terrible, and I think it's just a matter of figuring out like how can I train my kids if you guard your kids from everything and never play spot the lie with them, then when they step out of your house, you haven't trained them how to consume content. You haven't trained them how to watch a movie or watch a show. And for some of the Christians who are like clutching their pearls because of K-pop Demon Hunter, I'd ask them like, "Do any of you watch Modern Family? Like, do any of right? I think Modern Family, I think Friends, if you're watching reruns of
Mhm.
Friends, I think Friends is far more subversive than this, right?
Yeah.
So I just think, like, I think sometimes we can clutch our pearls because of the medium. This is anime. The girls are wearing skimpy clothes in the poster, and so we clutch our pearls about such superficial things. When like I wholeheartedly believe that Friends did far more damage to our culture than K-pop Demon Hunter ever would, even if they had the same level of popularity. So I just think Christians have to be consistent in how they assess these things. And I think you have to make decisions based on age of your kids, interests of your kids, and you just have to be willing to sit there and watch them with them. Any parent who's letting their kids, even if they're watching like one show that Quinn got really into for in on Netflix for a while was Miraculous, right? I don't know if either of you have seen that. Main character is Ladybug, and she's kind of a superhero. There's Ladybug and Cat Noir, and they're fighting this villain in Paris. And I watched it with her a bunch because I'm like, okay, like how girl bossy is this? How and there's stuff in the show where we played Spot the Lie, and there was stuff in the show that I was like, "Oh, that's really good." Like, notice, how she respects her father or whatever the case is. I just think parents have to consume content with their kids. Any parent who's letting Netflix raise their kid is just doing it wrong, whether K-pop Demon Hunter is on the agenda or not. So I just think Christians need to be a bit more thorough about these things and not so reactionary.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree, and I just think this is a great lesson for parents as well to just, like, make sure you're watching or know what your kids are watching, and you know what? And I think there is a learning opportunity, and it's like, well, even in this show, it's like, "Hey, you notice what the girls are wearing. Girls, what do you think about that? Like, is that appropriate for" and, teaching them, like, "No, it's not actually appropriate," or, "Oh, look at how those girls are behaving around boys." It's like, "Well, is that how God wants you to be looking at a man?" Like, so not saying you have to watch it, but I'm saying, like, if it isn't of your conscience or if your conscience allows you to watch it, well, just make sure that you're actually having those conversations and pointing those things out. Like, "Will I have my girls watch this?" No. Like, I won't I don't think I will because I don't think it's good enough content. It's not like it's some great epic that is, like, worth it, and there's, like, stuff there that's so good that you have to it's like, you know what? Wading through some of the garbage is actually worth it because like, some of these things are so good. I don't think it's at least from what I was watching, it was just not that good, like,
Yeah, well, that's the
personally,
thing. It's
but,
like if you peel back a layer of crap and there actually really is a diamond underneath,
yeah,
that sometimes is worth it. But if you peel back
yeah,
the layer of crap and there's like a lump of coal underneath, it's like maybe
yeah,
maybe just don't.
yeah. Well, and
So
that's kind of my thing. Oh,
no,
Nate,
go
go
ahead.
ahead. You have
No, go
something?
ahead.
I was just getting like, my thinking with letting Claire read Harry Potter right now and then watch the movies, like, okay, there's some, like, dark stuff there at times, especially in the later books where it gets a little bit more mature, and it's like, okay, so am I willing to let her read that? Like, we still kinda have to discuss how far she gets before we maybe tell her to put it on pause, but, I mean, even in, like, you're getting in the mid books, like Cedric dies, there's stuff there that's a little heavy, Voldemort comes up, being born again out of the cauldron and all those things, and so
You
it's
mean
like,
he
those
who
are
shall not be named? Easy,
he
Jordan.
should yeah, I'm sorry. Sorry, guys. Yeah,
Yikes.
sorry. Yeah, pretty brash there, aren't I?
Yeah, seriously.
But, so I think it's like but it's I think it's worth her maybe being a little bit scared there and us walking through and talking her about it and, like, coaching her through scary stuff because I think the ultimate end of that story is so good. So I think it's worth it. Harry Potter has proven to be worth even some of those maybe challenging things for a younger kid, but K-pop Demon Hunters, like, sure, it's catchy music, but you wanna listen to music, like, it's on Spotify, it's everywhere. Like, you don't have to watch the movie to listen to the catchy
Or just
music. Some of the music
subscribe to
is
Jordan's, AI albums
oh,
and
I can do better. I can do better. I was actually thinking of just on live on the air, us making some music, but maybe we'll do that for another episode
that
because
we
this
should do that.
Actually,
That's
a
a
great
cool
idea.
episode.
yeah, because I have man, we have some bangers. Like,
Yes,
Nate,
we do.
like, we have some really awesome songs that
Literally, the
people who
most played song in my house uh, in the top 3 most played songs in my house, 2 of them are Jordan's. And the most played song in my house right now is Judah the Lionheart, which is a song that
Yeah.
Jordan made for my
I'm
son
I'm
Judah.
I'm
So
I'm curious, what's the other one?
so I made the mistake of letting my kids hear the Pastor Nate song, and
Yeah, that's so
they
good.
love it. So it's
The Pastor Nate in, like, hip hop Punjabi, they
yes,
enjoyed that one?
Judah loves it.
It's so
It's
good.
Bollywood
unfortunate.
Yeah.
Nate. I love it.
Yeah,
Yeah. No, that's good.
yeah.
Well, boys, that conversation ended up being a little bit longer than I was thinking it would, so which is good. So maybe
Yeah,
we'll just have to title
can I
this.
just really quickly, I wanna kinda
Yeah,
give a
yeah.
bit of a tool to some of our parents, and I can't remember if I've mentioned this before, I might have, but it's worth repeating. Common Sense Media, so it's just
Mhm.
commonsensemedia.org is actually a really good tool. It's not explicitly Christian, which means that I actually think that that's sometimes better because when you hear, Christians talk about things, I don't know, are they United Church Christians and they're totally fine with pride flags? So you kind of know where you're getting it, but Common Sense Media kind of gives you type in anything, and we're talking movie, books, TV shows, anything like that. Comic series. You type it in, and you can read through parents' reviews. And a lot of the parents who review on there, and I've done a few reviews on there, will say like, "Hey, we're a Christian family," and then they review it. So you can actually read people's reviews of the shows, but on top of that, they'll give it a little like rating on sort of like violence and scariness, language, sex, romance, and nudity, um, product placement, diverse representation, positive messaging, and positive role models. And what's good about that is they're kind of pulling together people's comments and kids and parents' reviews. But what's cool is like even when it says like diverse representation, so I'll read that and they're coming from a secular thing. So they'll be like, oh, it's really actually it scores really high on this because there's a lesbian character. So for me, I'm like, okay, perfect. I'm not watching the kids aren't watching that one. So you kind of get an honest review. But even like so for K-pop Demon Hunters, here's the under sex, romance, and nudity. It has a 2 out of 5 and says, female characters are in skimpy clothing. Female characters spew popcorn from their eyes, which I thought was kind of weird. At the sight of boys' six-pack abs, two characters engage in flirtation. They seem to fall in love. There's plenty of mention of boys and girls being, quote, hot. So, like, it gives you a pretty good understanding of, like, what is it that like, why does it get that score, but then also, like, what is it about that? So, I just find that's a really good and helpful tool. It doesn't replace watching the show with your kids, but it does give you an understanding of, is this even one that I'm gonna sit down and watch with them?
Yeah.
So,
Mhm.
This might save you the time sometimes.
yeah. So
Yeah.
it's just a good tool.
Yep. Yep. Very helpful. Well, I guess long story short, use use wisdom and just don't justify and I think this is like a good thing to think about just as Christians where it's like you have this cultural phenomenon right now and the show is just blowing up. I think it's the number 4 most watched movie on Netflix ever already. Like it's just
What?
massive. Yeah, it's
Seriously?
apparently yeah, like apparently it's just exploded. Number 1. The music is just being played like crazy, like this K-pop Demon Hunters, and so
Jeepers.
I think it's important just to not jump on the bandwagon because it's like a cultural moment, but it's also then it's like, okay, well, what is it about it? And I think like Nate, you showed, go and look into it, and especially before you watch it with your kids. Anything big like this that is a kids movie, there I think by default we need to be very cautious of it right away because we know that they're going for our kids, and I think that's what makes this a little bit different in like some of these things are small and subtle, but it's like that's amplified for a kid's mind. And like it's just said planting a seed in a kid's mind of goggling after boys and the different things in the movie that it's like, yeah, just use caution, use wisdom. And if your conscience doesn't allow it, don't do it, right? Don't sin by violating your conscience. I think that's important in all this. And also for matters like this where it's like it's not really pushing anything that's overtly sinful. It might be because I mean there are some girls who come to our church and it's like, yeah, you probably shouldn't wear that. That is unwise. That is actually not like love, but it's not sinful to wear shorts. Like there's no Bible verse that says the length of your shorts. And so I think it's just important in that as well to not just jump on a friend or somebody online because I think those anons just attacking Josh not having watched it themselves, not,
Right.
having any grace as a brother. And, maybe even if, let's say, Josh was promoting something that was entirely terrible and wrong, it's like how a lot of those guys are going about that instead of a private message or something saying, hey, brother, out of love for you because you're a Christian, and you might want to reconsider that, food for thought, not just going and trying to, yeah, yeah. And then here we are. Right.
Yep.
And so let's just be gracious, loving towards one another. And obviously, we want to see things get better, but it might take a little bit. And that's okay. Right. So, all right, boys, anything else on that? Or are we good to wrap this one up? We had some other stuff, but just given timing and everything, I've got some other ideas for some stuff but we'll keep those for some
We
future episodes.
we were gonna do 20 questions, but I'm just gonna assume, was it K-pop Demon Hunters?
No, it wasn't K-pop
Dang.
Demon Hunters.
Well,
Yeah, it
now we
was
only
not
get
K-pop.
19 questions next time. Thanks, Nate.
And you know what? I think the one I had, because I did have a movie lined up for 20 questions, I think it would be good to have, let's do it next week with Parker
Oh,
after we
that'd be
do
fun.
our recap. And so I think he'll be good for that. So yeah, next week, Lord willing, Parker's going to be on. I do have, okay, before we even get to next week's episode, we need to decide when it comes to the movie scores, are we basing it off of as they are right now? Because all the data's in, all the reviews are in, user feedback is that what we're going off of as the score that we're basing everything on?
I can't make a decision on that until I know which one benefits me more.
I have results based on both. And so
Ooh.
I think I asked Mel, I was like, she didn't know who won either one. And she thought if you wanted the most accurate representation of the score, you would use what we have the most recent data because it's now all the reviews are in. It is the most accurate representation of what the score
I'm
of the
fine with
movie is.
that.
That's what she thought. Because I
Third
was going
party
through,
decision. I like it.
yeah. So
Yeah,
I was
I'm
going
fine with that.
through
I
and
was gonna
updating.
say that would be my preference, but if it makes you have to go through and redo it all, then let's just go with what you have, but
No, no, no. I just had to go and I created a spreadsheet with formulas. So all I had to do was pop in new numbers. And so that took a couple minutes. So then we do have a winner. And listeners, next week we will discuss who that winner is and what kind of prize they will receive.
nice. Is it a
As
Tesla?
if it was any extra work. He just made his butler robot lawnmower do it for him.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good point.
Anything I can automate, I will do it. So, all right. Well, listeners, thank you for tuning in again. And as always, we hope you enjoy. Hope you join us over on Discord and on Patreon. Like us over on our socials and go subscribe to us on YouTube. But until next time, stay nerdy.